Hey there, guys. Like I said before, I wanted to make this a separate video. I kind of wanted to get my thoughts on Kobe Bryant. And, of course, if you don't know what happened, if you've been living under a rock the last week, Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash in Calabasas, California, along with 8 other people, including his daughter, which, um, which I'll get into that a little bit later on, but I wanted to first talk about the person himself, because, to be honest, I'll be perfectly honest. I was never the biggest Kobe Bryant fan, but I never thought that he wasn't a bad player or anything, or was a bad person or anything. I just never really followed him. Like, I love basketball. I love the NBA. I love when I was a kid growing up in the '90s. Used to watch the Chicago Bulls all the time and watch Michael Jordan, and that made me kind of want to go into wanting to be a basketball player. But then, as I got older, the NBA kind of just went out of my way a little bit. I just never followed it anymore, and slowly but surely I came back around to it. And like with the Bull, I still follow the Bulls. I still follow like the Los Angeles Lakers, the Golden State Warriors, LeBron, Steph Curry, those guys. And like I said, like I've been saying before, I live in Western Pennsylvania, so we don't really have an NBA team to really support except for the Cleveland Cavaliers. But that's not the point of this right now. I want to talk about the legacy that Kobe Bryant left behind, which I wanted to wait until a week to really see the impact that he left behind, and it was a lot more than I think I could have ever expected to. Like I said, this was a guy I didn't really follow that much, a whole lot, but you can't really deny that the guy was not a talented dude. Like, he was a talented athlete. 30,000 career points, the all-time, over 30,000 career points in his career, the all-time scorer in Lakers franchise history. The fact that he was the first guard to play for at least 20 seasons, this is a guy that won 5 championships, 2 gold medals for his work with the Olympics, and then to win an Academy Award for a really great short that I just discovered this week, Dear Basketball. I've been wanting to see it for a long time because I like Glenn Keane, the animator, but after what happened, of course, somebody put it up on on Facebook, and then I decided to go check that out, and I'm glad I did because it was a really great little short that you definitely check out, Dear Basketball. And it's not only interesting to see the impact that he left on the court, but also what he left on the outside. Like, hearing these tributes from all these different people, he really did leave an impact that I did not expect to see from a guy like him, because when you think of the NBA's greatest, you think of guys like Larry Bird, you think of guys like Charles Barkley, Magic Johnson, Patrick Ewing, what am I missing? Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and of course Kobe Bryant's going to be in there. Wilt Chamberlain's also another guy I should have mentioned. So it was interesting when this whole thing happened, when the death happened. Like, it took me like everybody else, it took me by surprise, because I was recording some stuff, and then all of a sudden I look onto Twitter and I see that Kobe Bryant's dead. And I'm thinking at first that this has got to be fake, because it just doesn't seem real. But like, as the day went on and everyone kept, and because at first it was TMZ reporting it, and let's be honest, TMZ, the fact that they're the ones reporting it first, it's kind of a little suspicious at first. I wanted to wait and see, like ESPN. You would think ESPN would be the ones to confirm it, and then as soon as you hear Adrian Wojnarowski from ESPN on his Twitter feed confirming the news, you start to realize, okay, this is actually real. This is actually what happened, and it was shocking. Like, I was shocked, and this was a guy, like I said, who I didn't really follow a whole lot, but I understood his impact in the NBA, and even from somebody who wasn't the biggest fan of Kobe Bryant, I can understand why people were so shocked by this for a number of reasons. Not only because this was a tragic, tragic death. Like, I heard a lot of crazy things before they had eventually confirmed. I heard at one point that there was a tweet that went out that somebody said that all 4 of his kids were on the plane along with his wife Vanessa, and Rick Fox was on there too. But all that turned out not to be true, except for the part where, of course, his daughter was on there. And again, I'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, it was disheartening to see that. And even if you're not the biggest Kobe Bryant fan, or you didn't really think he was all that great of a basketball player, this was still a tragic way to go. I mean, for a guy like this who has so much so much on him in terms of his greatness in the NBA, and the fact that this guy had a scandal in the early 2000s that could have killed his career, and then comes all the way back, and then still manages to be almost just as good as he was before the scandal, if not better. That's really a lot to really admire about this guy. Like, he was a really great player. The more I've looked at some of the highlights from the past week that I've been doing, and there's no denying this guy has left an impact in the NBA, not just in the NBA, but in sports, not just in sports either, but in all just the world altogether. Like on the day of his death, you have this, you just find out about this, and you see these NBA teams having to be forced to play games. And what do? They all go, at the start of each game, most teams did a 24-second violation, and some teams did an 8-second violation, because those were the two numbers that he wore in the end, was when he was a member of the Lakers. And I watched like a compilation of all of those videos on there, of all those clips from there, and you would think after a while it would get a little boring, but no, it's very engaging to see that. Like, you really are invested in seeing all these teams, them all coming together. It's them all coming together and realizing that this is something that we need to do. Like, to see all these teams take 24-second violations and 8-second violations on purpose, it was just incredible to see. And just as I was recording this, ESPN had the Portland Trailblazers and Lakers game, and LeBron James gave like a very heartening speech about the legacy that Kobe Bryant left behind, and it was a great speech. I highly recommend checking that out if you get a chance to. So yeah, I can understand his impact in the NBA, and I think I can understand why a lot of people really admired him for what he did during his time in the NBA. But yeah, the way he died, though, that's just tragic. And I read a lot of things online about how his wife hasn't been able to finish sentences because of what happened. And yeah, no shit, because her husband is dead, one of her daughters is dead. Of course she's not going to be able to finish her sentences because she's distraught. Let her be. Like I don't understand why people think that we need to hear from her because of what happened. It's just like, how do you think she feels right now? She feels heartened. She feels heartened. She feels sad. Like, let her grieve. Like the person, like her husband and her daughter that she just saw earlier that morning are no longer with her. And like, you see all these other people trying to bring up, oh, he was a rapist and all that. Like, he was never admitted as a rapist. I had to look it up myself just to make sure I got this right. He denied the assault charges, but he did admit to a sexual encounter, and he did apologize to it. But there was never anything. But he was never confirmed. He was never confirmed as a predator or a rapist and all that. But you still have these people just like, no, he was like that. Like, he deserved to die. So okay, so he deserved to die. Did his daughter deserve to die too? Or do you just not want to bring that up? Because I saw that, and all I can think to myself is, what about his daughter? Did she deserve to die? No. It's a stupid argument to have there. And I just don't get why people still want to bring that up. They brought it up immediately after he died too, and it's just like, come on, man. Like, I'll tell you the two people I saw him do it with. Ari Shaffir, who did inappropriate comedy, who he has no excuse for even trying to say something like that after that terrible movie he did. And Evan Rachel Wood, who, I don't get why she did that. I think because, like, she's got Disney money now because she was in Frozen 2. I guess she feels like she can say whatever she wants to. But you don't bring that up when somebody just died. And that's one of the things I hate about, cancel culture, woke media, that kind of stuff. Like, it was a good thing at first because, like, okay, you're finally getting to these people that have been hiding and have not been getting too much attention for their past and all that. But then it got too crazy where as soon as somebody says something, automatically people think, oh, it's got to be true then. Oh, it's got to be true. True. It's like, what happened to innocent before until proven guilty? Fuck that shit. It should be guilty until proven innocent, and that's what we've eventually become. Innocence until proven guilty is dead in this world. Just like common sense, if you really want to think about it. But yeah, it's been an interesting week. It's been a weird week. It's been a sad week. And like I said before, I think I never really was into Kobe Bryant as a player, but this week I really did grow more fond of him for what he left behind. It's interesting to feel the impact all across the sports world, the entertainment world, and excuse me if I'm doing that because I'm trying to get my words together, but it's interesting to see what has happened since this week. All the stuff I found out, like one of the things that really interested me this week in particular was when I found out about his feud. Of course, Shaquille O'Neal had a feud with him when he was with the Lakers early on. You think that, oh, their friendship, they're not really good friends, but then you see how distraught and devastated Shaq was when TNT did that tribute for him earlier in the week. And even before then, last year, when he was on First Take and he was saying, there was an argument about who was the greatest basketball player of all time. It was Ryan Hollins who started that, and Shaq said, what about Kobe Bryant? From the guy that at one point said, I don't even know who that guy is. Like, the fact that he was able to admit now, okay, he definitely exists, and it's interesting to see that friendship kind of, it's good to know that their friendship kind of reconciled a little bit before this unfortunate tragedy happened. And it's just those interesting stories there. I heard Jimmy Fallon had a good, interesting story about his friendship with Kobe Bryant. Jimmy Kimmel did an entire show centered around Kobe Bryant, all the times that he was on his show. Ellen DeGeneres did something. I think The Talk did something. The View did something. All these shows. Conan O'Brien. Could have been some other ones too, but I'm not too sure on that one. But yeah, it's been an interesting week. And I wanted to do this because I did record some stuff earlier on when this event was happening, and I didn't know if I wanted to keep it or not because I was trying to figure out, am I going to be am I really going to put this in here? These videos are supposed to be fun and all that. I decided to just delete that stuff and just make it its own separate video. This whole thing a separate video because I did want to give my condolences to the Bryant family and also the other people who lost their lives: Alyssa Altabella, John Altabella, Carrie Altabella, Christina Mauser, Sarah Chester, Peyton Chester, Ara Zobayan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And of course, Kobe and Gianna Bryant, the families of those people. It's unfortunate what happened to them, all of them, and it's just yeah, it's really weird. Like, it's hard I don't usually get too upset about celebrity deaths anymore. I think there's only been 3 times in my life that I've been really affected by a celebrity death. The first one was when I was 9 years old and I found out that Chris Farley had died, and that was in 1997. The second one was when Mr. Rogers died in 2003. And the third was when Michael Jackson died in 2009. But this one really got to me. Like, it really did affect me. It really did make me realize Kobe Bryant's legacy and his greatness is probably going to stay forever and ever. And like I said, to all the 9 people to the 9 people's families who lost people in this tragedy, to everyone, to the Bryant family, I send all my condolences, my thoughts and prayers. This is the time when you can use thoughts and prayers in this situation. And it's just interesting. It's just a sad situation, and it's going to be tough for these people to really just let this really move on from this. It's going to be a tough thing to do, but yeah, I feel bad for. I do really feel bad for these people. You see me trying to put sentences together because I'm really getting upset over this, because this really did affect me. And I'm not a person who has any kids. I'm not a person who's really a family person, but this did affect me in a number of ways. And it's saddening. It's really saddening that even the person who has never met these people before, who has never really know much about the biggest name that got killed in this, it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy, and I feel like I needed to say something. And after this week, I really do. After everything that's happened this week, I really, really do think that this will really. I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm really upset. Is a lot of people. I'm really upset about what happened. It's sad. It's tragic. And like I said, all I could do is really give my thoughts and prayers and condolences to all the families that lost people. The Bryants, the Altabellas, the Mausers, the Chesters, the Zobrians. That's really all I can honestly say. And to Kobe Bryant, kudos to you, man. You left a great legacy. You should be considered one of the best NBA players out there after everything that I've seen. And you're one of the best athletes we've ever had out there. That's really the best way I could really end this video, is just rest in peace Kobe Bryant, rest in peace Gianna, rest in peace to all the 7 other people that got killed. And I think that's all I gotta say. Just my condolences once again go out to the families, and that's it.
Now, I got something written down. You know, they asked me to kind of stay on course or whatever the case may be, but Laker Nation, man, I would be selling y'all short if I read off. So in the words of Kobe Bryant, Mamba out, but in the words of us, not forgotten. Live on, brother.